In this particular tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use several techniques within Blender to quickly draw walls for buildings and rooms. So in this example, you can see a curved section here and multiple windows. So I'm going to show you how to set up Blender so that you can quickly model rooms like this, alright? And another example here. Okay, so let's get started. So let me just reset this scene here. And let's go to the user preferences. And then my personal preferences is to set the rotate around selection on. And under the add-ons, okay, I like to turn on the import export. The import images is plain on. And under the mesh editing, okay, I'll turn on the loop tools. Okay, make sure you check the button loop tools here. Alright, so once that is on, we can get started with this tutorial here. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this cube here. And then the first object I'm going to create is a plane object. So just press Shift A and then create a plane. Now, traditionally, you can go to the edit mode. Okay, I'm going to show you one of the traditional ways of creating walls. I'm going to go to press tab to go to edit mode, and then I'm going to press 7 on my number pad to go to top perspective, and then press 5 to switch over to the orthographic view. I'm going to press Z to go to wireframe view so that you can see a little bit better. And I'm going to show you this trick here. You can turn on both the vertex select mode and the edge mode both at the same time by holding down Shift. Okay, so now both the edge and the vertex mode can be selected at the same time. Notice when I move the cursor near to the edge and right mouse click, the edge is selected. And if I right mouse click on the vertex here, only the vertex is selected. So this is very, very useful. So what some people do is this. I'm going to select everything here and I'm just going to scale down everything. And they'll select the edge here, and then you can press E to extrude, and then basically start to create your wall. Alright, over a, let's say, a floor plan. Okay, so I'm just extruding sections like this, right? And sometimes it'd be a good idea to turn on the snap, okay, the snap function here, and then the snapping to the increments of the grid. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on, okay, grid selection. So I'm gonna press E to extrude, and then E to extrude. And notice I'm extruding small sections like this. Okay, there's a reason behind that. So let's go back to the edge here, and then extrude. Okay, and just gonna line these two up. Right, and then I'm just gonna hold on these two edges. Now I'm just gonna switch over the edge selection mode. Press F to fill it up. Okay, go to vertex mode. Press A to deselect. Just want to flatten these. Okay, if you're in snap mode, you'll notice that it's snapping to the grid. If you hold down the control, you can temporarily get out of the snap mode. Okay, so I'm holding down the control and left mouse click, dragging. Okay, and maybe these I'll just pull down a little bit. Okay, so now we have these sections here. Alright, we can actually select all of them, and then we can extrude. But let's say, for example, if you want a door here, then you can, let's go to face selection mode. Okay, and I'm going to deselect this face. Let's select all again, and then holding down to Shift, you can right mouse click to deselect it. Alright, and I can right mouse click to deselect this face. So when you press extrude, right, you notice that this section here will not be extruded and can form as a door or passageway. Alright, so if you want to form a window, you can actually create these sections early on. Okay, I'm going to just insert one edge loop. Just scale along the y-axis just to bring these two edges close in. And then maybe insert a couple more edge loops here, scale along the y-axis. Alright, and maybe this loop here, just bring them a little bit closer. Okay, so now let's say I got two door passageways here. I want to create a window. You can select the top part of the edge here. Let's go to the wireframe mode, and let's go to the side view here. I'm going to switch over to vertex mode. Press A to deselect, and I'm going to press B to select the top vertices. And in this case, you can see the entire section here is selected. Let's say I want to create a window here. Okay, so I want to change this into face selection mode, and holding down the shift right mouse click to deselect this. I can press E to extrude another section. Okay, so I can have like a window here. Alright, so what about here? You can actually go to edge mode and then select this portion here and press F to fill it up. And same for the doorway here. Press F, okay, to fill it up. Press F to fill it up. Okay, and then you can go back to the side view here, go to vertex, press A to deselect. Now remember, if you're in wireframe mode, you can easily select the vertices both in front of this view or behind. So I noticed that if you're in shaded view, alright, and if you try to box select this, sometimes the back vertices will not be selected. So if you want the back vertices to be selected, you can switch over to wireframe view, then press B, box select, and then the entire section here will be selected. And then you can easily switch over to the face, or while in vertex mode, it is automatically recognized that these when extruded will be the faces that are extruded. So if you press E and extrude, the faces will be extruded despite you selecting only the vertices. Okay, so let's go over to face mode, and you notice that we have a hole here, so that we need to patch it up. So you can again select these two edges here and then press F to patch up the holes. Okay, so in this simple example here, I'm showing you the traditional way of creating walls. Alright, so let me just scale this up a little bit bigger. So I'm going to select everything, and then I'm going to press scale, but I'm going to limit the scale only to the Y and X axis. So I'm going to press Shift Z, so I'm now scaling only within the X and Y axis, so I can have a flatter and bigger room. So if you want to extrude walls, what you can do is you notice that these two lines here are parallel. Alright, later I'm going to show you a method where you will not have this, and it's going to introduce some problems. Now when they are parallel, and then when you insert the edge loop is going to be nice and parallel as well to these lines here. So I'll just insert another edge loop, and then you can individually select the faces here and press E to extrude the walls. You can extrude another small section here, and then select the sides to extrude another enclosure, so you can create a section for the room. Okay, so essentially this is how you do it for using the extrusion method to create walls and for rooms, and then for if you want to create a door. Okay, so all you have to do is to just select the edges here. Okay, you can try to select the edge. Let me go to edge mode. Okay, and I'm going to select just these edges. Let me just go to individual edge selection mode. Okay, so I can duplicate this, Shift D to duplicate this, right, and I'm going to pull it out slightly. Okay, you can press E, right, to extrude. Okay, extrude another section, and then you can just patch it up later on by just selecting the edges, opposing edges, and then just pressing F to fill it up. Okay, so for this one, I just have to press F, opposing edges here, F, and this particular face, I'm gonna have to split it up. Okay, right, so I'm gonna select everything. I'm gonna press W and select remove doubles, so to get rid of the vertices sitting on top of each other. So now I created a door, alright, but it needs to be separated, so you need to select one of the face and press L for linked object, and press P to separate the selection. And also you have to go to, let's say, the edge. Okay, let me just choose press tab to go out object mode and select this object instead. Press tab, and then select these two faces, and then press Shift S, then cursor to select it so that the cursor is here. Then I'm going to go to object mode. I'm going to press the combination of the key, Control Alt Shift C, and then you say geometry to cursor. All right, or rather, sorry, origin to 3D cursor. Okay, because this is where we want the door, okay, to rotate, for example. Okay, so then now I can push this door in, and if you want, you can just rotate it here. So this is just a very simple example of how this works. Now, just now the combination Control Alt Shift C, okay, the menu, you can also access it here, right? This is exactly the same thing. You can see the keyboard shortcuts listed here. Okay, so this is one way of creating walls quickly. So let me just show you another method. Just delete away everything here, and press Shift C to bring the cursor back to the original location. And I'm gonna again create a plane. All right, just a simple plane, and then I'm going to go to edit mode, press Z to go to wireframe mode, and then I'm going to turn on snap. All right, snap, and I'm going to get rid of the central face, press X, and then delete only faces. Okay, so I don't need the face, and then I'm going to delete away all the 3 edges here. So I notice this, when I select one of the edge, then I press Ctrl I can invert select, press X, and delete away the edges. So I only need to start off with one edge. Alright, so I'm gonna now turn on the vertex selection. So holding down the shift, okay, both these are activated. Let me go to the top orthographic view. And then because of with my snapping on, I can just press E and then move my mouse. It's going to snap to each of the grids here. So let's say, for example, there's a door here. You're going to extrude one section here. Let it snap to this location. Then press E here. Then extrude again, one section here like that. Okay. So then for, let's say I'm going to turn a corner here. And then I'm going to extrude another section here. Okay, let's say I want to have a circular balcony here. Alright, I'm going to spin one circular balcony here. So I'm going to click on my cursor, left mouse click here, left mouse click on this area, and notice the cursor is not precisely snapped to the grid. You're going to press Shift S, and then watch the cursor carefully, and then choose the option Cursor to Grid, and you snap exactly to the cross here. Now, the reason why I'm placing the cursor here is because I want to use the spin function over here to create a semicircle, which I'm going to use for the balcony. So I'm going to click on the button spin, and the default values is going to spin at 9 sections and at 90 degrees. So I'm going to increase this to 180 degrees. So I can just click on this number and give a value of 180, and I'm going to give a subdivision of steps of 24 steps. Okay, and then I'm gonna press again E to extrude, and then just let it snap to here, and press E again to extrude, maybe 2 units here, press E again to extrude. Okay, maybe I want some windows here, and I extrude 2 columns. Okay, let me just zoom in so that you guys can see. Alright, and let's say another section for the windows. Finally here, and then I'm gonna select both points here and then press F to close up. Right, so now let's say we got the cross section of our building here. So we can start by selecting everything. Okay, remember this is a mesh. So if I press E, you should be able to extrude the walls up very quickly. And let me just go to shaded mode so you can see what it looks like. Alright, everything looks good, but the problem right now is it is thin, it's paper thin. So we're going to use a function called solidify to give a thickness to these walls here. Okay, I'm going to temporarily turn off the snap. Okay, going to turn off the snap so that I can bring these sections down a little bit. Okay, maybe down to about the waist level. Alright, and then I'm going to press A to select everything, and then I'm going to try to solidify it. But if you do this, okay, you are going to enter a problem. So to solidify this, first of all, you're going to bring up the face specials. So you press Control F to bring up the face specials, and you choose the function called solidify. Okay, so I'm just going to choose it. I'm going to show you a problem that will occur. right? So once you click on solidify, you see that now there are two faces, and then there's a solidify function here with the thickness control here. So let's just play with the thickness value, and you can see the problems that we are facing here. So instead of giving us a nice thickness that is consistent around the outline here, we are getting this problem. Okay, the reason is very simple. Let me just undo. Or before I undo, I'm going to press N, okay, to show you the display properties here. Under the normals here, let me just turn it on. Alright, you can see the normals are not consistent. That is the reason that is causing this problem. Okay, in fact, now I'm just going to undo. Okay, and you can see this very, very clearly. So this normal of this face is pointing inwards. Okay, this one is pointing outwards. Alright, and this one, this big face here, alright, is also the normals. Let me just increase the size of normal. It's pointing inwards. So this is causing the thickness to go haywire, or the solidify to go haywire. So what we can do is we can apply this function by pressing this combination, Control N. You notice that now the normals are now pointing outwards. Okay, so now I can just turn off the display of the normals, and then I can use the same function again, Control F, and solidify. And then now I can click and drag to control the thickness of the walls. Alright. Okay, excellent. So now the walls looks much nicer. Okay, so then how do we create the windows? Alright, so we already know how to create the doors. So but the problem with using this method is this. If you look at the corner here, there is a 45-degree angle here, and if I were to insert one edge loop here, alright, at the center it looks fine, it is perpendicular 90 degrees and all, but let me insert another edge loop here, Control R, and insert here. See, as I drag the edge loop closer to the edge, it's going to bend, right? In fact, if I plant the edge loop here, you can see that it is not perpendicular. So how do we fix this? Well, it's very easy. All you have to do is take note of which angle it is at, where you can flatten it. So along here is the x-axis. I can press, while the loop is still being selected, you can press S followed by X, okay, and then you can press the number 0. So now the loop is flattened. So now I can shift this loop by moving it all the way here. Okay, and then if you have two parallel or perpendicular loops here, you can insert as many edge loops as you want, and you notice that they are all straight and parallel. Okay, so let's say if I want to create now, but for here you won't have that. So I'm gonna press Control R and show you again. Let me just go to the top view and wireframe so you guys can see. Press N to hide this. So okay, you can see I press Control R and insert edge loop. You can see there's an angle here. If I click on it and I drag it, the closer I am to the edge here, it's going to follow the same angle here. So to flatten this, you press S followed by X, then 0. Okay. Now what about this loop here? If I press Control R and insert an edge loop here, and I need to flatten it along the y-axis. So you press S followed by Y and then 0. Now it is flattened. Alright, so once you have these two perpendicular edge loops, whatever edge loops you insert in between will be parallel. So you can use it to create your doors and windows. So I want to create a door here. So I'm going to move this edge loop right about here. I'm going to turn on my snap temporarily. Okay, and then I'll insert another edge loop here. Okay, so let me go to shaded mode, and I'm going to grab these faces, and then I'm just going to press X to delete. Okay, basically what I do is I press Alt and right mouse click, so this entire edge loop is selected. Okay, so I show you again, Alt, right mouse click, and this entire edge loop is selected. Then press X and delete away only the faces. Okay, and then you need to select these holes here, and then you need to press F to fill it up. So Alt, right mouse click along the edge here, so that you can select the edge of the hole here, and then press F to fill it. Okay, so now I got a door to the passageway. Okay, so now how do I create the windows? Okay, so to create the windows is very simple. Just go to the front view, and then I'm going to switch over the wireframe. Alright, and I'm going to switch over to vertex selection mode. press A to deselect everything, press B, and then left mouse click and drag a box to select the top part here. So now the top part of the faces are selected. I'm going to switch over to face mode. Okay, as I've demonstrated in the previous simplified version, I'm going to deselect areas which I'm going to create the windows. Alright, so I'm going to hold down the shift and then right mouse click to deselect areas which I want to become the windows when I extrude later on. Maybe here and here. Okay, and then maybe here every 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to skip 1. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright, let me start from here. 1, 2, 3. Right now I'm holding down my shift and right mouse clicking to deselect. Right, and 1, 2, 3. Going to leave 2 columns here. So now I have the faces which I've selected. Okay, which I can just simply press E to just extrude to form the holes that is going to form the windows. Okay, so what about the this edge here? Well, you can take you can use the traditional method to like select these 2 edges here and then press F to fill it up. Okay, so this is fine if you have a flat. Okay, if you have a parallel wall like this. But what about this? If you click and select these 2 and press F, you got 2 sections here which you need to subdivide. All right, you need to cut into 2, and then you need to pull it out. Okay, which is very tedious. Okay, I'm gonna undo these. I'm gonna show you a very fast way to fill up these holes. Okay, if you look at the bottom here, all right, the number of faces here, all right, is actually equivalent to the faces on top here, which we can use to cover up these sections here, these gaps here. So I'm going to go to my bottom view. I'm going to switch over to vertex mode again. Press Z to go wireframe mode so they can select everything behind. Press A to deselect everything first. Then press B to box select. Left mouse click and drag the bottom vertices, which will include the faces that's being selected as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to press Shift D to duplicate another section here. Alright, and then while the snap is on, you can conveniently you can press Z to lock in the Z axis. You can let it snap so that it snaps on top. Now if your snapping is not precise, you can turn on this edge snap, okay, so that when you move the duplicate, okay, you can, once it's reached the top here, okay, it's going to snap in place. Okay, let me just undo that for a second and press Z so that it locks in the Z axis and left mouse click. So now I've created a duplicate, okay, and then I've snapped and filled up the sections here. Okay, and then now remember, these are separate faces which I've just simply snapped on top. Alright, so if you want it to be stuck here, if you want it to be connected, you have to use the remove doubles command. So I'm going to select everything. I'm going to press W and then remove doubles. Right, so now this section here is part of the building already. So now I can go to the front view again and then press A to deselect, go Z to wireframe, press B to box select and select the top section here, and then press E to extrude another section for the ceiling. Alright, so now I need to do some cleanup. Okay, so and repair some of the areas here. So you notice these 2 faces here. Okay, so let's say I want to join them together. You can first delete away the faces. Alright, and then go to the edge selection mode. Okay, let me go to shaded mode so they can see. I'm going to click on this button here so they can see the outline behind. I'm going to press Alt, right mouse click to select this, the outline of the hole here, and then I'm going to turn over to this view. Then Shift Alt, right mouse click, so that these 2 gaps are now selected. And remember earlier on we turned on the loop tools. Alright, so if I press W to bring out the specials, I can use the loop tools and use the bridge function, and it will connect the bridge nicely to fill it up. And because we use the method to patch up the holes here, we're going to end up with holes at the bottom here. Okay, so well, you can actually select the opposite edges and manually fill it up. Naturally, this is of course not a very efficient method, so I'm going to undo. So what you can do is you can select the bottom faces, okay, the bottom faces of the building at the base here. And then just duplicate another section. Okay, turn on your snap. I'm gonna press Shift D to duplicate, and then I'm gonna press Z so that it snaps along the Z axis. So as I near to the edge, then it's gonna snap in place, and then left mouse click. Alright, so now I've completely filled up the hole here. I'm gonna press A to select everything, press W, and then remove doubles so I can weld the faces to the top here. So I'm going to press A to deselect, and then basically the outline of your building with this nice curved balcony section here. Alright, so if you want to create the walls, and because we already satisfy these parallel edges here, you can simply insert one edge loop, alright, and then insert another edge loop, alright, and then position it nicely. Now if you have a reference drawing at the base, you can use it to as a reference. So let's say I create one section here, alright, and then let's say I press E to extrude another small section here, and then select these faces here, and then press E to extrude another compartment. So basically I've shown you a number of techniques you can use to create walls very quickly. Okay, so but right now we have one slight problem. Okay, you notice that the faces here are very faceted, and let's say we want to have a nice smooth shaded look around here. So if we turn on smooth, okay, we're going to end up with this problem. You see all these dark patches here. Okay, these dark patches, once you see this, it means that the normals are wrong. That means the faces again are facing the wrong direction. Okay, so if you have to apply the Control N or the unify normals. Okay, let's go to edit mode. I'm going to press A to select all the faces, and then I'm going to press Control N to force the faces to point the same direction. So now everything looks fine. But you notice that the smoothing is now too aggressive, and the walls look very strange. Okay, so in order to fix the look of the wall, you have to apply a modifier, okay, a special modifier called edge split. So watch what happens once I apply this modifier. You click on it, you notice that, hey, everything looks much nicer. The walls where it's supposed to be flat are flat, and where it's supposed to be curved and nicely smooth shaded is smooth. The reason is because this split, alright, this modifier, alright, edge split modifier, if you play with these split angle values, you can actually adjust it until it becomes the same, where every angle that is beyond 90 degrees will be smooth. So if it's less than 90 degrees, it will not be smooth. Okay, so you can actually play with these values here, and you'll end up with a structure that looks much better. Okay, so let's do a test render and see how it looks like. Yeah, it looks good. Alright, so let me just show you this which I've previously done. Okay, and now you can use the file import images as plain. Alright, and then force this when you are modeling. Okay, force it to display as a wire so that it can model over textured mode. Alright, and you notice the color of this floor plan. Originally is a black and white image. Okay, so when I edited it in GIMP, okay, I gave it a dark blue and then a grayish tone for the text. So I basically inverted everything. So this makes it easier for you to select the subcomponents when you are modeling your walls. Alright, so this is a typical 5-room flat in my country, Singapore. So this is what I used, alright, to model this, the floor plan which I've used to model this model here. Alright, so let me just change it back to textured. Alright, so you can try this method, and you can easily see that you can use it to create walls very quickly. And okay, I hope I showed you enough to so that you can give it a shot and give it a try. Alright, thanks for watching.